Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where last episode we worked our way through some of our construction queue. We've got some more construction queue to work our way through, but we did cancel a decent chunk of it. Now, to be clear, we're going to need more military factories than we have queued up here, I'm pretty sure, but we can always queue those up later. For the time being, we don't need more than we have here, and we are going to want to get some planes in production. Let's go ahead and actually start working on that. So I haven't worked with this system at this point. My main question is, which one of these airframe types is ideal for fighters? So obviously this lacks a main armament, because what I'm thinking right now is, in terms of air power, what do we actually need? We need strategic bombers to deliver nukes if we get to the point that we want to use a nuke. We need carrier fighters. And we need, well, bombers would be nice, I guess. So carrier fighters, regular fighters, and then carrier bombers, regular bombers, and strategic bombers. So a modern large airframe would absolutely be in the cards for our strategic bomber. Yeah, this is already set up as Jet Strategic Bomber 1, so that's perfect. We're gonna go with like maximum jet engines. And we need to keep in mind that our air experience is fairly low. We are working on it, but it'll be a thing. So as far as our strategic bombers go, they aren't going to be in any contested skies. So what do the electronics give us? Strategic bombing, weight, night penalty reduction. Wait. So radio navigation is just better than bomb sights. It's cheaper in production cost, it reduces your night penalty, and it's the same strategic bombing and weight. And the same design cost. It's literally just better. But air-to-ground radar, we don't really care about any of this, do we? Let's just run radio navigation. We're not interested really in mine clearing. We wouldn't mind additional range. We don't care about defense in this situation. So range actually sounds good. We could just go really ham on the range here. Like all of the extra fuel tanks. This range is already getting ridiculous. But we don't want these planes to be in combat at all. So strategic bomber weapons, we'll go for a large bomb bay. We'll go for another large bomb bay. And then another large bomb bay. And then another large bomb bay. And then another large bomb bay. So, yeah, this is a very long range. Weight exceeds thrust. Okay, that makes sense. So our weight is 128, our thrust is 120. So we need to drop a little bit of weight. The bomb bays don't appear to be contributing to the weight, so it's going to be the fuel tanks. Yeah, weight of 6. The bomb bays do have a weight of 10, apparently. Oh yeah, so just removing a single bomb bay would make this valid. So we can do something like that. That would be a strategic bomber. Okay, we can get that under production. We definitely don't need to be making these interwar small airframes anymore. They are hot garbage and completely and totally irrelevant to us. So we do want to have at least some factories working on our strategic bombers, but it's really not a huge priority. We only need a couple of them, to be honest. So we'll just put 5 factories into the modern large airframe. A much bigger consideration for us would be our bombers and our fighters. And let's take a look at this. So that's a strategic bomber, apparently. Yes. So the modern carrier airframe. This is going to be a carrier fighter. So carrier fighter. The idea here is to give it just pure air superiority. That's what we want. So we're going to make it as fast as possible with as high of thrust as possible. We could give it some defense turrets. I'm interested in seeing air attack. Sure, we could go for like light machine gun defense turrets. Alternatively, oh, I just reset the whole thing. We'll just go like that. Alternatively, we could look for something like armor plates, but I'm not actually too concerned about defenses here. What I really, really want is a lot of air superiority in this. So I'm leaning towards this being... That's on interception. We're looking for air superiority. So the electronics don't seem to help us here. What else do we have in this scenario? Air defense. We're not looking for close air support. We're not looking to do that at all. So this is just air attack. We could do that. We could have low agility but high attack, in theory. I don't know that that's great. Okay, let's take a look at what goes in the main armament here. So fighter weapons. We want air superiority. This allows air superiority. Do all of these allow air superiority and interception? Yes. Okay, so we probably want something like heavy machine guns, air attack, and weight. It does not reduce our agility. Yes, so I'm leaning towards the heavy machine guns for right now. Over here, we definitely want, like, more heavy machine guns. We've got plenty of thrust for this. So we could get, like, ludicrous numbers of heavy machine guns. And that's just to get that air attack, right? So that helps to counter enemy air superiority effects. Our own air superiority is only 1. But I'm not seeing anything here that would increase it. Strategic bombing, sure. Night penalty reduction, sure. But that's only on interception, right? So that's not really what we're looking for. Air defense, we could go for armor plates here. That would reduce our range by a little bit. Drop tanks might not be the worst thing. That's flat range. So we could get some flat range there. And then air defense and weight by having self-sealing. So and we could do something like this. So this would be carrier fighters. But maybe these can be regular fighters as well. I'm definitely not seeing anything that actually gives us air superiority. So there's that. We're going to call this the modern carrier fighter. There we go. And we'll go ahead and save that for now. We may make some alterations to that later on. So we'll bring this up and position this here. In theory, we need quite a number of those. So let's go ahead and create ourselves another one here. So this would be the modern small airframe. So these are regular fighters, right? And I just want to check in here and see if we were to have... Yeah, these are basically all the same. So we just have like 1 trillion heavy machine guns on this, so that our agility stays reasonably high and our air attack goes up. We don't care too much about our air defenses. So this is basically functionally the same thing, right? And I'm noting that this is all of the same equipment that's available here as well. So I'm thinking that we can just repurpose our carrier fighters to be our regular fighters as well for the moment. Assuming that those can be based out of a regular airbase. I think they can. They could previously. Unless they've changed it, it should be okay. So we'll, if we need to, we can get a non-carrier variant of that, and that might end up being the case later on. But for now, we would like to get some tactical bombers here. So the tactical bombers are primarily going to be looking to have huge amounts of bomb bays, right? So just tactical bomber weapons and medium bomb bays. That's all we're looking for here. No guided anti-ship. We want... These are not carrier weapons. And we're probably actually going to change this around now that I think about it. Yeah, we are. But for the moment, we're going to just have these be pure bombers. And this is, what, too much weight? I don't know why that had an X over it, but sure. Okay, so we're going to do something kind of like this. Our agility is very low. And our ground attack is currently non-existent. But we certainly do want to add in... We could go for extra fuel tanks, but I don't think we need it. I just reset the whole thing. I keep expecting this to be the back button. It's definitely not. So 4 jet engines, and then tactical bombers, we're going for the medium bomb bays in all of these. We're not really going for any air defenses. These are intended to be escorted. So we want to go into the electronics here. And that's all strategic bombing. But that appears to be the same thing. So something like radio navigation 2. And then more radio navigation. And then more radio navigation. This is a really dumb plane, it feels like. But we have minus 100% night penalty, 96% reliability. We've got 30 strategic bombing, which is fine. And our agility is very low. But we're not expecting these guys to be in contested airspaces very much. So we can save that, but we can't have more than one radio navigation module. That makes sense. That makes sense. So we would go for, like, bomb sites here. And then can we spam out more bomb sites? No, we cannot. Noted. So at this point, we'd like to have, like, air-ground radar, probably. And then we would need... Let's see, air-ground radar, navigation, bomb sites. So that's everything we can do there. We could run some defense turrets. I'd rather not further reduce our agility, but it looks like that's going to happen pretty much no matter what. We could do something like that. And then we could just run potentially like armor. We could just ditch this and just run armor. Something like that. Cannot have more than 2 medium bomb bay modules. Okay, got it. So in that case, we probably would need to have... Yeah, that's the only location that we can have that there. We could have some recon equipment on this, I suppose. Or we could just have these empty. That's a potential option. Or we can do airdropped mines as well. Toss in some close air support. Anti-tank cannons. But that agility is going to be pretty grim. We could have a couple of small bomb bays. Something kind of like that. That's a valid design. Okay, let's do it. So that's our jet tactical bomber. Okay. And we'll toss 15 into that. Now, our modern carrier airframe here, I'm actually going to modify this. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to leave that be. But I do want to make a carrier bomber. So we're going to need a carrier airframe here. So a modern carrier airframe. This is going to be a bomber here. So this will be a naval bomber. We'll have guided anti-ship missiles. We'll have... Can we not have both? Yeah, we can't have both torpedoes and anti-ship missiles. We'll use the anti-ship missiles. We'll have airdropped mines. And we can definitely bring in... bomb locks? That sounds good. Wait, what's this indicating? I'm not sure what that exclamation mark is indicating there, but sure, that'll be fine. And then we could have a second airdropped mines, in theory. Something like this. We would definitely want to run our 2 jet engines. And then we would have something along the lines of... -2 aluminum? I feel like aluminum isn't a problem, to be honest. We could toss in just armor plates. Self-sealing fuel tanks, probably. We could toss in, like, a pair of cannon defense turrets. Something like this. And then just some armor. Like that. So that would be our carrier naval bomber. Right? And then we would just build some carrier fighters, which will also, for now, double as our regular fighters. Because the only real difference is going to be a small amount of range, which I'm not too concerned about range right now. So we can get something like that underway. And now we can finally unpause. Fantastic. I feel like I probably should have been unpaused throughout a lot of that, but we're okay. So I'm definitely noticing that the global tension is dropping. And it's dropping pretty fast. We're at 68% right now. So that's definitely very interesting. We're going to need to work our way through a lot of this construction, and that'll finish up eventually. The main question is, do we get started on queuing up our other stuff? If we do that, that will slow down our ticking speed pretty dramatically. So that is something that I am definitely concerned about. I do want to hop into our production tab here and take a look at what we've got going on for our ship production. Okay, that should be fine. We'll set up normal ships soon enough. I'm not concerned about having our navies doing things at this point. We're going to combine all of these fleets together. And this, at this point, we do have some submarines. Okay, so we're going to stop drilling here. And I would like to delete all of these. Just get that all moved over. In fact, I accidentally sank all of the ships. We scuttled them. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to move them into the reserves. But I guess it's okay. We can start over on that with our better ships rather than our really crappy ones that we had up until this point. So that's fine. We unfortunately do lose some destroyer hulls and some submarine hulls. But I think it's fine. I think it's okay. We're not at war right now, and we can just rework our navy from the ground up. So that sounds good to me. We can definitely get our Alaska chromium deposits continually developed, which apparently we can do infinitely-ish? I don't know. It's kind of weird. We have no text to research, of course. And our construction is a ways away from finishing. That said, there's a lot less factories here. There's a lot fewer factories, I should say, than I thought. So that's really, really good. We're very close to being done with those factories. I want to make absolutely certain that we have all of these queued up over here. Yep. We've got a lot of factory space over here still, but I'm not concerned about that. Let's make sure that we have all of our infrastructure queued up. I believe we have most of it. There's some in Africa that we can queue up, it looks like. So that'll be absolutely fine. I believe that's a lake. Yes, that is indeed a lake. And that looks good. So there's all of our infrastructure queued up. Cool. We're going to want to get some infrastructure out over this direction, for sure. There's no doubt about that. Where are you guys located at? Oh, you're chilling down over here. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, sure. So we do have these divisions. There we go. And we're missing equipment production on fighters. And that's to be expected, actually. We can get rid of our planes that are out over here right now. These are not necessary. So we'll return that equipment to reserves and return this equipment to reserves. Beautiful. And from there, we can go into our logistics and we can look at our interwar fighters here. We want to get rid of all of those. Fighter Mark 1 is, I believe, the ones... Well, we can get rid of those as well. Okay, cool. Apparently we're supposed to have an air wing somewhere. I don't know where that is, but it's fine. Hello, pause menu. So we're going to tick on forward here, and are we actually producing any of these planes? I don't think we are at this moment. No. Okay, that's to be expected. Our military factories are still a little bit busy. And we've got lots of tanks stockpiled here. I'm actually thinking about getting rid of these 15 factories working on modern tank chassis. We've got 15,000, almost 16,000 stockpiled. So we can repurpose these 15 military factories. Those are going to go all into advanced artillery here, which is okay. Cool. So with that underway, that will be absolutely fine. We're going to be finishing up all of this supply hub nonsense eventually. There's a lot of that. And the supply hubs take like 6 months each to build. So that'll take some time. This infantry division can go into our reserves. We need a lot more reserves. That's for sure. Did we get another one? We did, a modern tank brigade. Cool. So that will be absolutely fine. I do want to check in and see, yep, we can continually develop the Alaska chromium deposits. How much chromium are we getting out of Alaska right now? 452. And that's going to add 26. Okay, well, that's definitely a lot of chromium. We're probably not going to need to continue to develop that for a while. Yeah, we've got a lot of surplus. Cool. I want to check in here. We are on a war economy, and a closed economy at that. We're never going to get total mobilization, and we're on extensive conscription, which is fine. If we go any further, we're going to start to hit pretty major malices, and I'd really prefer not to do that. So that's looking good. As far as this construction goes, we're going to have these civilian factories done pretty soon, actually. That's looking great. And I would definitely love to start getting our supply hubs built up in these locations. But we're going to wait and allow our North and South America constructions to finish. That'll be good. And then we'll start to work on all of this stuff over here. I mean, we do have a lot of construction to do yet, right? Like, we've got all of these naval bases. We've got these military factories. We've got all of the infrastructure. We've got a lot. And there's more naval bases that we should, in theory, think about queuing up. Like this one. But for now, I'm not too concerned about that. We are tearing through that construction queue at quite a speed. And as long as these guys are okay with just chilling, I kind of am too for the moment. Apparently we were missing light tanks, but whatever. Okay, so we can get this moved into our reserves. There we go. And we're definitely going to need to work on our logistics network. There's no doubt about that. But our North and South American ones are working nicely at this point, or at least the South American ones are largely complete. Yeah, pretty much. Ooh, there's no connection here? Apparently there's no rail connection here. That was definitely intended to be connected. So we'll toss that in. Cool. I feel like South America could use another hub down here, but honestly, motorization should be able to get us there. So that'll be fine. I'm not too concerned about that. And obviously, we're still working on North America. That'll be done eventually. We've only got 5 more civilian factories to build here. And we've currently got 522 being used for construction here. That is insane. Wait, was that... Hang on. I think that number wasn't quite right. Construction is 357. Consumer goods are 153 of our factories. Right. What else can we do to reduce that number? I think it mostly is what it is. Okay. So we're going to continue to tick forward here, but it is about time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to see about, let's see, we got our Navy and our Air Force-ish good to go. We're working on this construction here. I think next episode, we're going to start working on our infrastructure out over this way in terms of our supplies. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, MLohan80, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisil, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.